Hello, welcome everyone for our stream today on Montana and national parks, Yellowstone, and Glacier. Now, why Montana and national parks? May sound like a bit of a cliche by now, but during COVID, we either discovered our own backyard or our local park and how much we loved it, and it hasn't gone away.
So vacations to Montana have grown and grown. It's also is a place that where Europe has become a place that is gotten too expensive to get to, which is definitely an issue. You can get to Montana a lot more affordably, and there is really a wide range of what you can do and see there. You can stay at some of the most expensive high end hotels in all of the US. You can also stay at much more affordable spots. They are great towns and great nature. I am personally a huge Montana fan. How about you? Yeah. So we are excited to talk about this slide about these.
So, let's talk about getting there. The three main airports that we're going to cover are Bozeman, Billings, and Missoula. There are tons of connections into Montana. Usually, you're getting a connection in Denver, Salt Lake City. Minneapolis has a lot of connections as well. It's as well as from the West Coast, and you have a lot of nonstops into these airports. From the East Coast, it's a little bit harder. Bozeman does have nonstops, which means Big Sky has essentially nonstops because that's how you get to Big Sky. And those tend to run year round, not just in the winter for ski season.
So that's the easiest one for East Coasters. West Coasters have an easier time, and then there's obviously a lot of connections. One thing to understand about car rentals, a lot of people want to rent a car, and the cars do sell out. They do run out of rental cars. So if you are planning just the accommodations and some tours for you, definitely take care of the rentals first.
Weather and climate. This is pretty obvious, but let's go over it anyway. Winter is quite cold. Yep. But whether it is for skiing or for dude ranches, you will have a lot of fun in the wintertime. Summer is high season, but summer is still chilly at night. So even when there's a heat wave, it can still get quite cold at night. So we do recommend that packing something a little bit warm for the evenings. There is fire season, not to scare anyone, but it's just become a part of our life. Yes, it could impact the trip. Fire season impacts so many parts of the country as we see what's going on right now. So just be aware.
What what are we getting the most bookings? The ranch at Rush Creek. Montage Big Sky Pause Up the Wilson is a residence inn that is affordable and Sage Lodge also. What's coming in a new hotel into Bozeman? The Hotel Bozeman and residences. Bozeman is the next Jackson Hole. When you think of that cool town that is starting to explode, that is definitely Bozeman. So great place to go before they start becoming Jackson prices.
That's right. Better get it while it's still. So, what are these places that we're talking about? So, Montana 101. So, Big Sky. Big Sky is where you have incredible skiing. The Montage, the first true ski in, ski out 5-star that is there. Yellowstone Club is there. It's really an area that's known to have great outdoors summer and wintertime. Bozeman is your gateway to Big Sky. That's where you're going to fly into. So you're going to drive an hour to get into Big Sky. Bozeman is a great town. That's where Montana State is. There's an amazing museum there. It has a lot of dinosaur fossils. It's a cool place to take your kids if you're traveling with your kids. Now, Yellowstone is really a park you're going to be going in and spending the day there for the most part and coming back out of. Amazing geothermal features. Actually, a great year-round destination. So doing it in the winter, you still see a lot of wildlife. There is a lot of traffic there. So something to know, you will be sitting, you'll be kind of driving one road in and there's a moose and everybody stops, but hey, so cool, right? To see that,
Yes.
priceless.
Yeah.
There's camping and hiking within Yellowstone and a few hotels there that are not so great, so we're not going to cover those.
Okay. Glacier National Park is much more rugged. National Park a little further north, Missoula is in the west. You do have direct flights into Missoula from the west coast. You don't have them from the east coast. But this is where some of the top dude ranches are. So this is your a gateway to Rock Creek, Post Up, and Triple Creek.
Montana is for nature lovers. So, someone who says, I want nightlife and I want to dress up and go out, they're not going to be happy there. No, this is not the kind of place you can come and not. This is the kind of place you can come and not bring a pair of heels and just be in casual clothes and hiking boots the whole time. It is a fantastic place for people who love amazing scenery and also want to be like not around a ton of people. Even in peak summer season, you have so much space. It is obviously a big draw for families and for multi-gens, but you do see a lot of couples and solo travelers there as well.
Bozeman and Big Sky. It's worth spending some time just to explore Bozeman. It is a very, very cool town. So that's fun place to see. You've got great restaurants. You've got Bozeman Hot Springs, and the restaurant scene is kind of booming right now.
Yeah, so it does have more casual spots, but you're also starting to have that Jackson Hole effect where you have more upscale restaurants coming in too, but nothing super fancy, but great breweries, big, great barbecue. It is an awesome town to explore. And it is the place you're going to fly into to get to Big Sky.
That's true. So let's talk about the Montage Big Sky. This was a massive deal when it opened because most of what you got when you talk about sky and ski out of Big Sky for the winter is like you got places that are kind of like condo style. They're clean, they're comfortable, they are not going to make most luxury travelers happy.
And Montage opened along with this revamping of Big Sky to bring it up. It's incredible skiing. The really hardcore people who love amazing terrain love Big Sky, but sort of lamented that there wasn't a nice place to stay. Now you have it. Montage is not just a winter destination, it is amazing in the summer.
You've got fishing, you've got rafting, you've got all of that. And Montage has great concierge team that can help you with that. Really good for families.
Yeah, there's a bowling alley, there's a lot of space, there's a pool. So when you've got a family that's going out of that wants to do some of the big adventure activities, but also wants the kids to be able to splash around the pool a little bit, Montage is wonderful.
True. Now let's talk about the Kimpton Armory. Really, really cool hotel that is right in the middle of downtown Bozeman. Now, if you're here, do you need a car? Not necessarily, because everything is walkable around Bozeman. But I will still recommend that you have somebody rent a car because what they are going to be doing is mostly exploring the town some. But driving out and doing Yellowstone for the day, and driving out and going for hikes or going rafting or doing the outdoor activities, but coming back at the end of the day and being in the town where you can walk out to dinner, walk out for a drink. Super cool hotel. Much more affordable than what we were talking about Montage versus this.
Yeah, this is a more like it's a Kimpton. It's a cool urban hotel in a historic building, but with a modern tower that was built onto it. It's got an amazing bar. It's got a great vibe, and we are huge fans of this hotel. Also, has a rooftop pool, which is a soft spot for me. So it's totally appropriate for people who want to have a little pool time. But the town location, I think, makes it really great because you can get out, but you also can come home at the end of the day and have so many restaurants and fun shopping at your fingertips.
That's right. Let's move to Yellowstone National Park because it is where you can get really through a lot of places. But often you're flying into either Jackson Hole or Bozeman to get there. So, what are you doing?
No, what are we doing?
Obviously, we all know about Old Faithful. Most of you probably already know what Yellowstone is on an underground volcano, and that if it ever exploded, it will potentially destroy humanity.
Pretty wild, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, that geothermal stuff is intense. There is so much to learn. I mean, you do not have to be a super wildlife or science person to be fascinated by this. It's amazing for kids. It's amazing for adults.
for sure.
You can geek out for sure. There is so much to learn. And again, just the scenery. You're driving around. It's now what to know about it is that you will be driving through. There are helicopter or flyovers, things for anyone who really wants to splurge. Now, last time we checked, there's no way for them to be landing in Yellowstone, which is to
No,
protect the wildlife and all of that.
true.
So even if someone wants to, oh, but I will fly. No, no, you're not. You're going to be flying over.
Exactly.
It just has amazing parts. It's also very, very big. So when you're driving around, it can be nice to have a guide if somebody wants to spend on that. You don't need to do a guided tour, but I found, how about you, Caesar?
Yeah,
It really was helpful to have someone explaining a little bit about what you're looking at and someone who knows the places to pull over and stop and who might spot the wolf out there in the distance that I wouldn't see. That could be really great.
right.
Yeah.
These are places that you will not be eating in and drinking in Yellowstone. We wanted to give you spots we could recommend to you as you're coming out because you spend all day in Yellowstone, and when you come out, there are no great restaurants in there. You might come out and then stop and get some food as you're leaving. We label this by which entrance they are at. They are mostly all around the west entrances, but this is where you can stop and get a good bite to eat after a big day in the park. Or lunch if you are going to the in the afternoon, but this will be really helpful. Just remember, these are not in the park, but just outside.
So, Sage Lodge. Huge fan of this place. How do you get here? You're flying into Bozeman and you're driving an hour, hour and a half out into Paradise Valley, which is where Yellowstone, the series, was set. Sage Lodge is a hotel. People kind of put it in the dude ranch category. It is not a dude ranch per se. Um, like there are no horses on site. It is really more of a hotel in a beautiful setting, but it gives you access to all kinds of things. Again, an amazing team there that can arrange everything from the guy that drives you through Yellowstone to the guy that drives you to the hot springs or do horses. All that can be arranged, but you're actually just paying for a hotel, which really makes a difference in terms of your budget because it's not an all inclusive of all these activities and prices. I really love a special thing that they have at Sage Lodge, which they have houses. They call them. They have houses. They are, I think, 6 bedrooms.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you can sleep a lot of people in them, and they come out like pretty affordable. These are gorgeous. They fit a lot of people, and when you break it down, cost per person, it becomes pretty reasonable. And it is run by a hotel. The food is awesome at Sage Lodge. Really, really great restaurant. And you get that access to Yellowstone. You're only about an hour from the entrance. And you are staying in a wonderful hotel.
true. Now, if somebody says they want camping, under canvas is what we recommend. Again, this is outside of Yellowstone, not in, but it's just minutes from one of the entrances. They are true tents, so if very hot outside, it will be hot in the inside. If it's cold outside, it will be cold inside. Although they do have stoves, and some have private bathrooms, but not all of them do.
Yeah, so you really want to check these out. These are not luxury experience, but it is set for someone who wants to have that camping experience. But I think it's great because even someone who might be splurging on a hotel somewhere else might want to do this for one night, especially families that want to give their kids that experience of being in a tent. It's a very, very beautiful tent with real beds, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
This is a no sleeping bag on the floor when you're growing up and your mom sends you to off to camp. Let's move to Glacier National Park or Grinnell Glacier.
It's okay. It's Glacier. Yeah. So Glacier is a little less built up in the sense of hospitality. So you will struggle a bit more in terms of the hotels that you have here. However, the scenery is amazing. Now, so somebody who feels that Big Sky is overdone or there's too many people in Yellowstone, Glacier is a bit more on the remote side. Now, in the summer, you have some great stargazing and, of course, Grinnell Glacier, one of the few glaciers in the continental U.S., which will take your breath away. Take my word for it. Oh, um,
That's right. And plan a full day hike to visit Grinnell Glacier.
yeah.
The food is good. There's a town in this is where you're going to be, like the lodge at Whitefish in particular has a really nice restaurant that is overlooking the lake. There's a lot of stuff to do and see. There's so you not by any means out in the wilderness with no civilization around. There's still great spots to stay at.
Yep. But it's just not going to be as high end and as developed as some of the others, which is a plus for a lot of people. Now, the lodge at Whitefish Lake is perfectly nice. It's not super designy, ultra luxury, Amman type thing, but that's okay. It's also not priced that way. And it is a good spot. However, because this is the most popular one to stay in there, it can be hard to get availability.
For sure it is. Also, we use this in the winter for people who are skiing Whitefish. It is a little bit of a drive to get there, but it is a good option for that too. So just plan ahead because it can be hard to get a spot because it is a great one to know about.
We are moving on to Missoula.
Yes, we
Yes,
are.
we are.
And
Rebelsman has caught on as the kind of the new Jackson Hole. People are not talking about Missoula quite so much that way yet. Most people aren't going to spend time in Missoula, but you should know that you can, and there is stuff going on there. It is a great little town. So
We included a few restaurants that we like in the area. A lot of Montana can be about balancing the budget because the ranches can be so pricey.
yeah, for sure.
So you can do things like balancing a splurge on a place that is a ranch with a couple of days in Bozeman, or at Missoula, where it's going to be a little more affordable, and you also get like the great local town vibes, and then you can splurge at place like the Post Resort.
The resort I pause up. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna take a minute with this because the resort I pause up is not really one hotel; it is three. What should you know about it? Well, there is the Greeno. The Greeno is their newest section. It is like modern, sexy tree houses that is adults only. They do not allow children here. This is for the honeymooners. This is for the anniversaries. They are expensive. They are beautiful and they are romantic. The Greeno is part of the resort at Paws Up. If you are doing an activity, you will be doing it with other guests. However, they have their own restaurant there, a really good one. So for people who want to go and have a very upscale, very romantic hideaway in nature, you could do that at the Greeno at Paws Up.
The rest of Pause Up, that's not the Greeno, are the tented camps, of which there are 10, and then three cabins, and they're cabins. There are no hotel rooms. Everything is cabin. So, what a lot of people end up doing is splitting their time between the tents. Now, their tents, this is not under canvas. This is a full on, feels like a luxury safari experience. They do all of have their own bathrooms.
Yep.
Each tent camp has its own dining hall, so you'll have all your own meals there.
So you'll be going all around the property. It's like 35,000 acres. It is huge. Now, if you remember a river runs through it, the river that runs through it is actually the river that runs through Paws Up. So lots of activities, lots of space, but you can stay in the tented camp and you'll have your meals there. What's fun is if you have a group, you can actually take over a whole camp. So some are by a river, some are in a field. So you have different camps there, and you can actually do a camp takeover, which is really fun for like a big family reunion or a corporate group.
And then you have the cabins last and least. I will say put these in a category of think of like a ski chalet. It's kind of like of that vibe, lots of wood, fireplaces, decks sitting outside, big cozy leather couches. The range from two bedrooms to I think six are the largest ones. There are some of them close together. So if you have a family that needs a little more space, you can get two of them next to each other. Pricing for Pause Up is the other complicated thing. It is all inclusive. Price of your accommodations, your food, your beverages, including their house wines and all of that. It is not inclusive to all of the activities.
Yeah, so it's inclusive of the free activities. You can go out, you can borrow a bike, you can go for a jog. What you cannot do is go ride a horse without paying for it. So I like this in terms of pricing. When you think about, in particular, a multi gen who may have grandma and grandpa, they want to be there, but they don't really want to do all the activities. But then the rest of the family might be a little more active, or there are a lot of young kids who aren't going to do the activities. So you don't end up with an inclusive price that ends up charging you all for all of that. But if you are going to have a family that is all active, just remember that that's going to run up the price a little bit.
So remember, Greeno for is for adults only, and modern cabins for the sort of extended families, and the tents for people who wants the glamping. So you can split your time. We do that for a lot of people who wants a little bit of the glamping and a little bit of the cabins. Now, the ranch at Rock Creek, this is the creme de la creme, the highest end.
Probably one of the most expensive hotels in the US and probably one of the best. So, from the agents that we've heard of clients who have booked, almost everyone rebooks. It is mind boggling expensive, but it is truly all inclusive. The accommodations, the food and wine, and all the activities. So, if you want your cabin to look like it's out of Architectural Digest, or I want to feel like I own a home in the Yellowstone Club, I don't ever want to look at a bill while I'm there, and we want to do a lot, then this is your place. It is truly pretty special. It is pricey, but they pay for it up front, and the feedback is phenomenal. These places are very crowded in the summer in the sense that they book up, but they're not crowded because there's so much space. But if anyone is thinking of going during prime season, which is July and August, start to plan ahead.
For sure. Now, some other hotels that we will love in Montana. The Wilson, this is the one that we mentioned that is a residence inn. That is right down in downtown by Big Sky. An amazing option to know about. No, it's not a key in ski out, but yes, it is great little affordable hotel that's walkable to the various restaurants in Big Sky. Lone Mountain Ranch is a dude ranch that is in Big Sky. That is not far from town. It is not far from the ski slopes. If you love cross country skiing, they specialize in cross country skiing during the winter. They have tons of trails. Great places for the cross country people in winter. Great place for families in the summer. Long Mountain Ranch used to be a former mining town, but they sort of turned into a ranch.
Yeah. And Triple Creek, amazing. This is
Yes.
adults only, and it is a full dude ranch. So we talked about Paws Up being Greeno, that's adults only. But then if you're going and you're doing your activities, and you got a couple that really wants to be around families, because I'm sorry, really doesn't want to be around families because it's their special honeymoon. They will they will be when they do activities there at Greeno. Triple Creek is a ranch that is only for adults. Amazing food. Is actually part of Relais Chateau. It is year round. So you can go lots of different times. You can still go and be cozy in the winter. But this one is where it is fantastic. And it is a notch below in terms of pricing.
So when you're thinking about all these things, oftentimes they're very splurgy. Now the great thing is domestic flights don't cost as much as international flights. Once so people are happily to splurge on into or they split with some of the city time, small city time in Bozeman or Missoula.
Right. Triple Creek is an awesome one for those couples looking for that experience, but looking for it to be around with no families around. Signature dishes. Now, we think the food in Montana is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we love that the food is very local, bison burger for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were at this bar and we tried this bear proof whiskey. I couldn't help but notice it on the shelf facing us. It's made with the juice of huckleberries, which is pretty common there in Montana. Most people that have visited Montana have seen the huckleberry jam, which is, like I said, very popular. But man,
The Huckleberry
that
whiskey.
huckleberry whiskey, that was amazing. That was great. I said, I wish I could take a bottle or two home, huh, Caesar?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
the bartender said, you can. You can go buy it at the Glacier Distillery. Just go down Route 2 to the town of Corm. I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
We sampled some while we were there, obviously, and brought home 3 bottles of bear-proof whiskey. Wish we could have had more, but that's all we could fit.
Don't get full though.
What?
I think. Well,
Well,
I think it was necessarily because of the bear proof. Carrying that bear spray. Well,
what's that?
don't get. I'm sorry.
Don't get fooled by what?
I think it wasn't necessarily make you bear proof. So keep carrying that bear spray with you.
Oh, it's right
when
here.
You're hiking in the trail.
It's right here
That's
if you
right.
need it. Yep. All right. So, I mean, didn't they close that trail when we were there?
Yeah, they
What
closed
was
one
it?
of them. Yeah.
Was it Logan's Pass, right?
Logan Pass. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
They sighted a bear. We were going to go on Hidden Overlake Trail, and that's where they saw, and they blocked everyone from hiking that day.
Yeah, I remember that.
But we pivoted to the Highline Trail. No worries.
It was nice.
Very good. But that bear-proof whiskey, made on site at the Glacier Distillery. I think that's the name. I mean, you can Google it. It's in Coram, Glacier National Park. The only reason I remember that is because I read it in our guide on our Fora profile. Don't know if anyone other than us has read it, but hey, at least it came in handy for this stream, huh?
That's true. It came handy.
But if anyone is interested, we do have a 5-day itinerary for Glacier National Park in our Fora profile. So if anyone wants to check that out, the link for that is in the post up above. But I would stay more than 5 nights, at least 6. What did you say, Caesar?
I will say the same thing.
If you want to do the whitewater rafting, which we did, or horseback riding, with all the other activities that we did, I think at least 6 days.
At least.
If you're adventurous.
Exactly.
Like us. Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
If not, hey, that's okay as too. But yeah.
Sure.
Right. So
the dress code, you want to have those layers, and you want to leave the high heels at home.
Yeah.
You do not need those. Do you need cowboy boots? Sure. Why not? It is a style decision. You should probably get a pair. Buy them there. You do need hiking boots for sure, and I will recommend hiking boots over just sneakers. Health and safety here, I think it's worth mentioning. The wildlife is really real. The wildlife is really around. Anywhere that you're staying, the staff will give you your rundown on bear safety and wildlife safety when you're hiking. But just something to know: bear spray. You're not crazy to have bear spray with you.
Nope, not crazy. Not crazy at all. You're going to be out there. You're going to be hiking. You should be carrying bear spray.
Yes.
Yep. I would not bring that in your carry-on the airline. However, they are not going to like that. No. And then moose are the ones that you really want to worry about. I mean, they are big and dumb and aggressive. I mean, one of the things that I remember was explained to us is if you see a moose coming, you really want to put a tree between you and the moose because they're so dumb, they may run into it.
However, a bear, they ain't dumb.
So
you want to learn a little about the wildlife while you are there. Some places are higher altitude. So if anyone has problem with altitude in terms of not feeling well or not sleeping well, that's something to check. And definitely cell service is remote areas, or you are going to want to have a GPS device if you are really going to be getting off the grid, because you may not have great cell service out there. So just some things to know.
Celebrations and events. Now, these are things you really want to be there for, like the rodeos. Really fun in the summer. If you're trying to avoid the crowds, you would avoid them at none of these places. It's not like you're going to be going to the south of France during the Cannes Film Festival where it's, everything is sold out. Just know that I think for the most part, those things are really fun. This ice festival here is wow. Well, when can I do that? How about you, Caesar? What do you think?
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's would you do it though?
Maybe.
I would for sure. Great photo anyway. And then some pit stops. We wanted to add in a few things because, again, a lot of people end up renting cars. These are places you can add in if you're driving out. So if you're in Bozeman, there's a lot you can go and explore with little historic towns, with state parks. They're not going to be a very hard drive. But more often, you might ask, what else can I do?
Exactly.
Right?
Lo-
So,
yeah. Lots of combo of Big Sky and Jackson Hole. Yellowstone is kind of in between, so we can actually make a trip from Big Sky or Bozeman into Jackson Hole and Yellowstone a day. Like you start in one and you end up in the other. That's really popular way to do it. Cody, Wyoming, another great spot to check. Sun Valley in Idaho, notorious for having some difficult flights situation during the winter. It's only a 6 hour drive from Jackson Hole, and it's an amazing place to explore.
yeah. So, some of you have probably heard of the Sun Valley festivals, but really, just a wonderful place to go explore. And you can explore that, and it's just 6 hours. I know 6 hours isn't nothing, but it's also not so bad. And then Teton National Park in Wyoming, which often people are often visiting from Jackson Hole. Again, you can kind of do that on your way to Jackson Hole. So that combination of Wyoming and Montana is probably the most popular.
If not Montana, then what are the other places? Okay, so it's obvious Banff and Alberta, Telluride, Aspen, and Vail. But if anyone really wants to go to Europe this summer, then I would recommend the Dolomites. You've got those towns and hiking and some amazing little hotels there. Or for people really active that they are super into trekking, we were advised to highly recommend the Chilean Patagonia.
Now, nothing against Argentine Patagonia. We love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Yes, amazing meat and wine. But our co founder at Forest says Chilean Patagonia is where you get the really good hotels. It's a bit of a hike to get there, but once you're there, it is so easy. The hotels really handle everything. So they figure out your activities on a daily basis, very similar to a dude ranch, where it's like, so what do you want to do today? Okay, the weather's like this, and they're kind of taking care of everything. So you don't have to book separate guides. It's all handled through the hotel. So it's a great place to book. It's a great place to travel. It takes a lot of the decision making out of it.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, that's it. Bye.
Bye now.